Okay, we are headed out. The convoy has started for the beginning of the day. There's camp right back there behind us, if I've aimed the camera correctly. And I'm thankfully riding at the moment. And my daughter's driving, so that's good. Anyway, here we are on the beach. There's the Atlantic Ocean, and we're headed out for day 2. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so we're just continuing to drive along the beach, but thought I'd give you a quick look. Again, we're driving along the Atlantic Ocean. There's our group that's in front of us. And then you see the mountains in the distance. I think that you can see over there. And this is what we've been looking at really all of yesterday, and probably will be looking at a fair amount of today. Just, you know, it's its own beauty. It's not snow-capped mountains and trees and all that kind of stuff, but it's definitely its own beauty. It's been fantastic watching the waves crash along the beach all of yesterday and today. And so anyhow, I thought I'd give you a quick look at what we're experiencing. So that is an oasis in the desert. So I'm going to see if I can show it a little bit better. There we go. Hopefully I'm getting it on the camera. If not, then I'll cut it out. Again, we're in a group, so we don't need to stop. But that was really cool. We're out in the middle of nowhere in this desolate area, and there was fresh water. And as the guide said, you know, that's where you're going to find animals, obviously, because they're looking for water. We did see a brown hyena just a few minutes ago. It was too far in the distance to see on the camera, but it was headed to the ocean and I guess taking a bath. Okay, so we're slowing down here. You see the Grenadiers in front of us slowing down because we hit this green area. So you see this little green mound right there, several green mounds, and then you see that greenery in the distance. There is fresh water here. So if you see past the end of the green there is the Atlantic Ocean again. But this greenery we see here obviously is indicative of fresh water. And the guide said that there are 3 lionesses that live in this area, and they've had cubs here. So obviously there's a lion around here also somewhere. But they have seen lions in this area, and so we'll keep our eyes peeled for it. By the way, earlier we did see another brown hyena heading toward the water, and we saw him get all the way to the water and head into the ocean. Now obviously he's not going in the ocean to take a drink because of salt water, but looked like he was maybe washing off or something like that. So maybe we'll get a chance to see a lion, but probably not. A little more of the greenery up close. This is a low spot here, so, you know, they did say that there are flash floods in this area once or twice a year. Not every year, but the water collects in the mountains in the distance from a rain and then rushes down, and that the water could sit for, sometimes it can flow for as much as a week. And you see, you know, thick grasses there and whatnot.
Well,
and I'm waiting.
Trail cam on the right. Would that be some private individual or the guys that run the reserve?
Anyway, pretty area. Okay, so we stopped here for a second in this green area again, talking about lions. But here is, there is the lion S footprint, and there you see that it got circle right there in the middle of that circle there. So hopefully you can see that very clearly. Again, the word was, there's another good one right there. He said that even seeing the footprints is a little bit rare, that there are 3 sisters in this area that are in the 5 to 6 year old time period or age. They'll live to be about 12 to 14. That they've tracked some of them that have gone as much as 22 days without eating. But that's just the way things are here. They gotta, they eat when they can eat, and then they've learned to adapt to eating on pretty sporadic basis. There are supposedly about 40 of them between here and Angola, which I'm not sure how far that is, but anyway, pretty cool. Again, the odds of seeing one is not high. We haven't passed one single vehicle today. So our guide said, and you can imagine this is true, that whenever, in fact, there's some more paw prints right there. Whenever they hear the cars or whatever, they hide or hit the road, so they could have been just a few feet from us and we'd never seen them because the grass was pretty thick. So if you look right there, and we're going to try to expand the camera view, that's an oryx. And sorry for the background noise, but that's an oryx. We're only half a mile from where we saw the lion, so that would be a great target. It's all by itself, so that'd be a great target for the lions, because it's alone and probably doesn't know what kind of danger it's in. Okay, so there we have 2 wild dogs. It's not a dingo, because dingoes are in Australia, I think, but 2 some kind of little wolf, dog, hyena thingamajigger right there. And interestingly, they're not running away, they're just hanging out. So there's a really good view, and again, in the ocean, we're still along the Atlantic, although you can see that it's getting a little bit more hilly in here. So over that hill is where the Atlantic Ocean is. Okay, I thought we were at Terrace Bay a long time ago, but here we are. Welcome to Terrace Bay. We're going to stop here and get gas. Okay, so I don't know if you heard that, but apparently they don't have gas stations out here. There is a fuel vehicle out here, and we're going to park on both sides of it. And I'm not sure where it is, but we're going to see that in a second. Anyway, this is Terrace Bay, and as you can see, it's gotten a lot hillier out here. The ocean is right over there, but this is as close as you get to civilization out here, as close as we've seen today. And I don't know what else happens at Terrace Bay, but we're going to get some fuel here, and I think get some coffee or something. Okay, so this is pretty cool. This is our rolling gas station. So apparently they don't have big trucks that come out here and bring gas and have a gas pump. We're gonna fuel up this way. Maybe we brought that gas. Honestly, I don't know, or if this is a service, but I don't see any kind of metering or whatnot. It looks like they're just gonna run that hose that guy's holding into our gas tanks. So anyway, what an experience. Okay, so this is kind of crazy. See, we are filling up gravity fed through some clear hose, and this is gas that is part of our group. This is gas that's part of our group. And so this was already bought, and it was sent out here to refuel our vehicles. So there are no gas stations out here. This is crazy. So again, this is quite interesting. You see how we're fueling these vehicles up. Stick a hose in there and shake it until the gravity grabs a hold. And I did ask to see if there was any other fuel services. I mean, what about the other people here, the other cars that are out here? And they said that there's no fuel at all. So you either bring your own or you're without. Said most people stay on the main road, and so it's 300 kilometers in between. But Anyway, don't know what's going on here, but very interesting. So we were just told this whole process could take up to an hour, and so I wanted to review the vehicle. So first thing is, this is a right-hand drive vehicle. South Africa is obviously just south of Namibia, and they were originally a Dutch/English influence kind of colony, and so they drive on the left-hand side of the road, thus the steering wheel's on the right-hand side. So that's interesting. I've driven, on the quote-unquote wrong side of the road many times in the past, so no big deal. But it did bring into, discussion this footrest and the whole footwell again. And I got to tell you, there are lots of complaints about that early on. And, I have a left-hand drive Grenadier, and I said several times on various review videos that it's not a big deal. In this, on the right-hand drive, it's not good. That was a very uncomfortable position for my left foot yesterday. This footwell area here is very narrow, so it really was an uncomfortable thing. I haven't been driving this morning, but it certainly has been it's been uncomfortable. What else? This has got, the steps on the side rather than the rock sliders. Obviously got raised air intake. I don't know if this is a field master or a trial master. I guess I can look. I think there's a badge over here. This is a trial master also, but it's got steps rather than rock sliders. I don't really remember if there was anything else that was a big deal. I did want to point out the quartermaster. So we had an interesting discussion that one of the guys that's here is from Ineos, actually a couple of guys work for Ineos. And something interesting, and now they've got the tailgate down. But if we look underneath here, you'll see the word Grenadier right there. And this is actually quartermaster. It's got a number 1 on it, but this was the first quartermaster that came off the production line. Anyway, well, there you see Grenadier on the hood too. So I thought that this was the Ineos quartermaster, and it turns out, at least when number 1 was manufactured, that this is the Ineos Grenadier quartermaster. So there would be an Ineos Grenadier trial master, there would be an Ineos Grenadier field master, and an Ineos Grenadier quartermaster. So I thought the quartermaster name, or the quartermaster, the truck version, didn't have the Grenadier name, but at least at this point it does. So I remember one other thing that I wanted to mention now, and I'm going back to my vehicle. There is a guy here named James Melville, and he is representing the company Melville and Moon. And so I'm going to show you that on this insignia. So that says Melville and Moon, and they make all of these trim's the wrong word, accessory pieces. And so this is a heavy canvas, covering for seats, for dash, for the back seats. And the company is called Melville and Moon, and they're based in South Africa, I believe. They're an off-road outfitter, and so they also made these covers. Now this one doesn't say Melville and Moon, but some of the other ones do. Ineos Grenadier, Expedition South Africa. It may be that there's enough dust on there, but I'm almost sure that that was also a Melville and Moon product. And then they were nice enough to put this bag in here. It's a laundry bag, but it's got a bunch of gizmos in there, so they're little gift bags. So that was very nice of them to do that. So I'm going to check out their website and see if they've got anything to sell. Anyway, I think that's it. Oh, we did air the tires down. So they measure their tire pressure in bar rather than PSI, and I have no idea what the conversion is, but I know we aired down to 1.4 bar, and when we air down in the US, we're going to typically air down to 14 PSI, that kind of thing. And so we did certainly air down for when we drove out on the beach, and I've obviously left the tires aired down at this point. Those are the only things I can think of. This vehicle does have the Safari windows, so my car doesn't. My Grenadier doesn't. They have tinted, so that there's no cover on there. That is a tinted Safari window. We've driven, we drove a fair amount yesterday with the Safari windows open, and it was quite enjoyable. Really did like it. Now, if it was dusty and you had that window open, it'd be sucking the dust in or whatnot. We've been staying far enough back where that didn't happen. But anyway, if you can see in the distance, the white, that's the waves breaking on the beach. So again, we're right up against the Atlantic Ocean. And again, this is Terrace, I think it was, Bay, Torrance Bay, where we are, and taking a quick stop.